Did you ever run from the cops? Hey Grace Baptist Church family, hey, I am here with Randolph Mann, and this is a little series that we're starting called The Life Of. Just interviewing Grace Baptist Church members and attendees and asking them a little bit about their life and about their journey and about what God has brought them through and what they've encountered in life. So once again, I'm here with Randolph Mann. Randolph, thank you for joining me this morning.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to start off with a series of questions. Just because I'm genuinely curious, and I know that other people are too. And I think, now we'll probably be fact checked on this, but I think that you are the oldest living member of Grace Baptist Church that regularly attends.
Is that right?
I think so. Do you know anybody older?
No.
So I think you're.
I don't really know.
Yeah. So we'll start with a simple question. What year were you born?
I was born in 1931.
1931. So that would make you what? That would make you 92?
92.
92.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about where did you grow up? Where were you born?
I was born in Menifee County, Kentucky.
Okay.
And that's about roughly 35, 40 miles from Winchester, I guess, east.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then what did your parents do?
My parents were in business. My dad, they had a general store, and my mother had post office. My mother was a postmistress.
Yeah, awesome. And then what do you remember about those days? Do you have any like childhood memories or growing up?
Yes, the general store especially at that time was a place where people, of course, they did grocery shopping, and since it was a general store, they shopped for everything from clothing to small implements for farming. And then it was a place where people would gather in small groups to discuss different things. But it was I guess you'd call it a small community center, really.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't anything, Basically, that was it.
It was like the local truck stop or where everybody came to kind of gather and converse. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The area was very rural.
Yeah.
Of course, most of Menifee County was rural, but people had small farms.
I was going to say, tell me about the home that you grew up in. How many bedrooms? What was the layout?
Okay. The home I grew up in, I had 4 bedrooms. I had nice area on the first floor for dining, and also a large room for visitors.
Yeah.
It was, as far as convenience was concerned at that time, it was also a gathering place.
Yeah.
Yeah, since my parents were quite active, and so my mother liked to entertain, and so one thing I recall about it is that some visiting ministers that might be coming in to the small church where we attended, they a lot of times would come and spend several days with us in our home because we didn't have any in that area. There weren't any motels or hotels in there. And I recall that my dad he would make time to maybe take the minister if he alone, then he would make some time to take him fishing or do something like that with them.
Yeah. So did you grow up going to church, or were your parents Christians, or did
yes, they were.
Yeah.
I grew up.
Yeah.
Going to church.
So was that in the area that you lived?
Yes. It was less than a half mile from where I lived.
Yeah. And then when did you have a refrigerator in your house, or when was the first time that you got a refrigerator? Can you remember that?
I was very small.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And then did you walk to school? Did you ride?
Yeah. Yes. At the time I started.
Yeah.
Again, a small community. School age, starting age was 6.
Oh wow.
At that time. For some reason, they let me start at age 5.
You were ready, huh?
Yeah. But however, the school where I attended was only a couple of blocks from where we lived. So again, that was a little bit different, but it worked.
Oh yeah. So your earliest school memory, what was it, like a single room schoolhouse, or did it have rooms?
No, it was a single room. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Did you have one of those desks that you opened up, or was it just a single desk, or was it a stool?
A single desk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you ever get any, what do they call them, paddles?
Well, no, I really didn't. Somehow I avoided that. Yeah. But one of the interesting things as I look back on this was this. It had to do with health. Occasionally, well, I guess each year, the registered nurse would come and give immunizations.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I hated them.
Yeah.
But the immunization's not the nurse.
Yeah.
But anyway, I knew pretty much when the nurse was coming. You'd hear conversations in the store. People gather and they're talking about various things.
Yeah.
And so when, like I said, it was only about 2 blocks from where I lived, the store and the post office, the school was. And so the nurse came and I left. I got outside the door of the school and I went to the store where my parents were. Well, you could get by with a lot of things in school at that time. But anyway, the problem that I didn't foresee was that, look, when she finishes there, she's going to come by the store and give some immunizations.
Oh, no.
That happened. So I learned that didn't work.
Yeah. So you tried to get out of your shots, but it ended up backfiring.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the same way with shots. I still to this day, I don't like needles at all. I don't, for some reason. Well, kind of fast forwarding and kind of even in those days, so how much was a gallon of gas? And when, or did your let's start here. Did your family own a car, or when did they get the first car in the family?
Yeah, they owned a car. They had one probably by the time I was born. I don't really know. But anyway, price of gasoline, I believe it's 33 cents. You're thinking in terms of when I was able to drive legally. Legally.
Legally.
Around 33, and I believe the lowest cost that I can recall before that was 24 cents a gallon.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then,
Not a bad price.
No, not at all. Yeah, now it's $3 plus 24 cents.
Right.
So how much was it? Do you remember like a gallon of milk, like at your earliest recollection?
I can tell you the price of about it. Since I worked in the store, I can tell you the price about anything else except milk. The community, we lived on small farms.
Yeah.
And the families had cows.
Oh, wow.
So they to milk. So that was one item that was not in these rural groceries like that.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough demand.
Yeah, or probably refrigeration to keep it, right?
Yeah, and a lot of them didn't have good refrigeration either.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what about eggs? Did you guys sell eggs in that store, or was that
Yes,
kind of another thing?
Sold eggs. Eggs was a good item.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had these. I'm sure you know what they used to put. I think it's 24 dozen.
Yeah.
These cases like that.
Yeah. How much would that sell for? Do you remember?
I don't remember what the price of that was. I think eggs were around that time, maybe 25 to 30 cents a dozen, maybe.
That's crazy. And then a candy bar, because nowadays you go out to the store and you try to buy a Snickers bar and it's like almost $2 or $3. How much was a candy bar?
Bars were 5 cents each. I've sold thousands of them, working in the store.
Yeah, I was going to say, so growing up in the store, were you allowed to take any candy that you wanted, or was there kind of like some rules that you had to live by?
No, I pretty much could have what I wanted.
Yeah. So kind of moving forward, and this kind of, I think I already have the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyways. What was your first job? Was it working at the store?
Yes.
Yeah. So what other jobs did you do? Did you do anything else?
Did some work on the farm.
Yeah.
And then I was pretty much stayed busy with the store because my family were quite active in the community, and they would go here and there, and I would spend quite a bit of time in the grocery.
Yeah.
As I grew up, I was familiar with prices and was pretty much knew the people in the community.
Yeah.
And so between doing some farm work and working in the store, and I worked some in the post office.
Oh, yeah.
So my mother spent some time, we were in the Cincinnati district as far as the postal service was concerned. And I recall that if some problem come up with the post office, they would they would call my mother. Mother's name was Ada. They would call Miss Ada if they had a problem and ask her to go and take care of it for them. But anyway, growing up with it and being there, obviously I pretty much knew the work of the post office. It was not, it's different certainly from what it is today.
Yeah, so you worked both kind of, and stuff helped out with both.
I could work.
Yeah.
So. And the post office was actually, and of course, is in the same building as the general store.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
that was convenient.
Yeah.
Convenient for the community, for the
Yeah.
people coming in, do their grocery shopping, mail letters or pick up packages or.
There's still some towns that you'll drive through and you'll see a post office. Some smaller towns you'll see a post office and then like a store or something. So yeah. So kind of fast forward, and so college years, 18, 19, or when did you kind of move away, or when did that take place?
Well, actually, I started to college when I was 17, and I went through that, and then I went into the military. Actually, in my case, I was in school, in college.
Yeah.
And when they had a draft.
Oh, wow.
At that time, they
Yeah.
were still drafting people, and so my time through the draft came up, and I was in school. I was in my senior year, and they said, here again, a small community. And my family, the old saying, in a small community like that, you knew everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe not everybody, but you knew the majority of people there. People at the draft board obviously knew my parents and knew my family and everything. And they said, well, don't know. So you go ahead and finish school, and then you can go in. So that's what I did.
Oh, wow. So they let you finish out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then.
So were you selected though, or did they give you like a choice to kind of like with the draft?
They give me choice.
Yeah.
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 And when I graduated, then I could volunteer for service and serve mandatory 2 years. Otherwise, if you volunteered in the Army, which I'm not, that sure about Navy and Air Force and so forth, but if you volunteered for the Army at that time, you need to spend 3 years. So I could volunteer for 2 years, which worked for me.
Yeah. So you went into the military for 2 years out of.
Yes.
So where were you Did they take you somewhere, or did you have to go and do like training somewhere?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We have an Army base. We call it Fort Knox in Kentucky.
Yeah. Yep. It's pretty popular.
Right. It is. Incidentally, I was talking to a fellow in Austin, Texas, fairly recently, and the military came up, and he said something about. He said, I was at Fort Knox. Wow. I said, yeah, is that right? He said, yeah. Well, that's where I took basic training. I said, yes. Remember that? Yes. They had 2 hills there. They called them, misery and agony.
Misery and agony.
Agony, yes. So they were tough.
Did you get to experience both of them?
I did. I don't know whether I was fortunate or unfortunately, but I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then fast forward, so you stayed in the military for 2 years?
Yes.
And then once that took place?
Well, they sent me down to Fort Lee, Virginia for about 8 weeks after basic, and I went to what they call supply school down there. And then later, after that, after supply school, they sent me back east to what was then Camp Kilmer. It's in New Jersey. It's about 30 miles down the road from New York City. And I spent first year there, and then they sent me to Europe for the second year. So I experienced, when I was in Camp Kilmer, we were helping people. Actually, people were coming to Camp Kilmer, being discharged from Europe.
Oh, wow.
And that was what I was doing in Camp Kilmer, as working there with others, obviously, to help get them separated from the military when they come back. We could have them picked up. We had buses pick them up in Brooklyn, New York, bring them to Kilmer, and 2 or 3 days we'd have them out. Yeah. And that I didn't realize it was going to happen to me, but when I left Camp Kilmer and went to Europe.
Yeah.
So
was that a cool experience for you, or was that stressful for you, or were you excited about it or nervous about it at the time?
There was some stress.
Yeah.
But as I look back on it, it was a good experience for me. Yeah. Though, really.
So then you got out of the military, and then what was after the military? What happened then?
Well, I had earlier planned to work in the field of education.
Yeah.
So I had a teaching certificate. So I went to Ohio and taught for social studies for 1 year. Actually, it was over at Kings Island.
Oh yeah, okay. So my parents grew up in Mason, Ohio.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I lived in Mason
Really?
for a year.
So do you know Montgomery Inn barbecue sauce? Do you remember that? Montgomery Inn?
Yes.
Yeah, so my dad actually used to bale hay for the owner before he started.
Was that right?
Yeah, Montgomery Inn and stuff. So before Mason was, it's all city now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It used to be all farmland and stuff.
Right. Sure.
So yeah, my parents grew up in Mason.
No, not this particular one that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't know that, but I was in the area.
Yeah.
Area there.
Yeah. So around Kings Island. So was that before Kings Island was built, or were you there?
Oh, it was before Kings Island was built.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you stayed there for 1 year, you said?
And I decided, really, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I had placed an application with state government, and they called me, and I went with them and stayed a good long while.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And what did you do? What was your job with them?
Well, actually, I started out working in northern Kentucky, basically as what they termed a social worker at that time.
Yeah.
And I moved up there. Then they began to add to my territory. The supervisor I had several different counties, and then they would move me in. They would add a county to my territory, one over here, and then one over here, and so I did that for a good while, and then an opportunity came along for me to attend a special program at University of Louisville. I was able to get into that program went through that and came out, and they gave me, I was married at that time.
I was going to say, yeah, let's rewind. Tell me about, because I see that you have a wedding ring on, so tell me about your wife and how you guys met.
Actually, when I left the military, I went back to school for 1 year and got a master's degree. Then the high school where I attended in Menifee County was Frenchburg. Frenchburg's the name of the county's seat in Menifee. And like I said, I attended Frenchburg High School, and one of their teachers left at midterm, in the December, after the first semester. And I had finished up my schoolwork at that time, and again, everybody in the county knew you.
Yep.
So they nailed me to come and finish the school year. That's where I met Ella. Ella had come from the Dodge City area of Kansas.
Oh, wow, okay.
She had graduated from a Christian University, Sterling College, Sterling, Kansas. Sterling. The name of the town, Sterling, and the name of the college, Sterling. She had graduated from there, and this was her first year after graduation. And her family knew the principal at Frenchburg High School.
Yeah.
So somehow Ella came to Frenchburg to teach first year. And there again, this one semester that I taught there at Frenchburg, that's how I met.
So you guys were both teaching at the time?
Yeah, she left at the end of the school year.
Yeah.
And we had just started dating a short time before she left. And then she came back to not teaching, but she came back to Dayton, Ohio. Somehow she got a job with the Church Federation there, and she traveled quite a bit. And since she was that near to Kentucky, we continued to date for, say, another year, and then we were married at the end.
So you saved up for a ring?
Yep, sorry?
Did you save up for a ring? Did you give her a ring?
Oh, yes.
Yeah? How did you propose? Did you take her out? Did you just go over to her house? Or?
I think it was after a dinner engagement.
Yeah. Did you guys ever go to the drive-in movie theater? Was that a big thing then?
It was a big thing, but we were actually where she was living, when she was living in Dayton, Ohio, that was where when we dated the most, she was living in Dayton, and I was living down in Mason. But she liked the restaurants there in Dayton. Yeah. And on weekends I could go up and we'd go out to dinner, and
did you spend all your money on her?
Well, quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
You're right.
It's worth it.
Yeah. I never regretted it.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then how long were you guys married?
How long were we married?
Yeah.
It's easy to remember. 59 years, 51 weeks.
Wow.
we missed our 60th anniversary by 1 week.
Yeah. And then, if you don't mind me asking, when did she pass?
July 21, 2018.
Yeah.
About 6 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. What was your guys' wedding like? Did you guys have a bunch of family there, or did you guys do a small wedding, or?
It was a small wedding, and very few of my family were there.
Yeah.
Because of the distance. We were married in, in Kansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You always got to go back to her hometown, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. And then was honeymooning like a big thing then? Did you guys do a honeymoon, or did you just kind of go right into life?
Primarily, the most of our honeymoon actually was coming back from Kansas to Kentucky. We did some things on the way back, and then later did some traveling in Virginia.
Yeah.
And around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do you guys have kids?
Yes.
Okay. How many kids do you have?
2 sons.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And when did those come in the story?
Okay. They were two sons, Rodney and Kevin. Rodney was the older of the two, and we were actually living in northern Kentucky when they were born. They were born in Fort Thomas.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they grew up, well, actually, we were living in Corbin, southeastern Kentucky, as Rodney and Kevin grew up.
Yeah.
So they went through high school there, and then later, each one of them went to UK.
Okay, yeah.
And
so you've been in Kentucky pretty much your whole life, right?
Pretty much.
You've kind of gone here and there, and then you currently go between Kentucky and Florida, is it?
No, Texas.
Texas, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Texas is a way better state.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm splitting my time between Kentucky and Texas.
Yeah. So a couple other questions here is you said you grew up in a Christian home, right? Mm-hmm. So when did you get saved, or do you remember kind of that moment where you said, "Okay, I'm going to take my faith serious"? Was that in high school?
Yeah.
Was that later on in life?
Excuse me. I was 26 years old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
were you baptized in your home church, or was that sometime down the line?
Was not baptized in my home church. Was baptized later in Presbyterian church.
Oh yeah.
I grew up Presbyterian.
Yeah.
So as you're aware of, baptism is different between Presbyterian and Baptist.
Yeah.
Actually, later, I was baptized in this church.
Okay, at Grace. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
So, what brought you to Grace? When did you start? Do you remember the year that you started coming, or kind of what brought you this way?
Yes, it's been around 2000, 2001. In that, we had moved from Corbin, moved to Winchester. Each one of us had retired before we left Corbin. We came up here. The reason we came to Winchester was that Rodney, our older son, had graduated from medical school, and he was setting up his practice in Lexington.
Oh, wow.
And so we came up here, and actually Ella worked for him 3 or 4 years.
Did you do bookkeeping or secretary work and stuff like that? Yeah.
Yeah. So, he went. Rodney went his medical school. Experience was University of Louisville. And Kevin, after graduation, he was like a lot of other young people. He wasn't too sure of what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So he did some theater work, and I thought he would probably stay in theater, but I suppose that he somehow decided that, I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
So he did, and he went back to school then, and he actually decided to become a physician's assistant.
Okay, yeah.
His brother, Rodney, had told him that at that time that he could make a good living as a physician's assistant, and you didn't have to manage an office, you didn't have to hire people, you didn't have to supervise them, you didn't have to deal with insurance companies.
Yeah.
And when you go home at night, they're not going to call you back to the hospital
Yeah.
or something like that. So that's what he did, and he is in emergency medicine now, and very happy with it. And
Do you have grandkids?
two granddaughters.
Yeah.
They're age 14 and 17.
Okay. And what do they call you?
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty good title, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how did you find out about Grace? Were you guys just driving by, or did you guys know people from here?
No, the story on that is that we didn't know people in Winchester, so we did like a lot of other people. Well, we'll go to several different churches and see what they're like.
Yeah.
What are they? And that's what we did. We go to church here and the church there and so forth. And the ironic thing about it, I would have never guessed in my wildest dream that Ella would go to a Baptist church.
Yeah. Because you guys both grew up Presbyterian.
Presbyterian, right? Oh yeah, oh yeah, very much so. But we did, and we came, and people were friendly.
Yeah.
Of course, and of course we met Brother Pat. Mm-hmm. He was preaching here, and Rodney, living in Lexington, wasn't involved much in church at all, as we knew, and so he came and went to church with us here once or twice here at Grace.
Yeah.
And we, especially Ella, said, she recognized that Rodney liked it here, and so we decided then that yes, since both of us liked the church here, and Rodney seemed to come back, we said, well, so we just started coming full time here at Grace. Again, the people were very, very nice, and we enjoyed the people in the services.
Yeah,
here.
It was pretty incredible. We just celebrated 30 years. What was that? I think that was 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now, as
recently.
Grace Baptist Church.
Uh-huh.
And it was cool because I had the privilege to go through all the old photos. And I made some, slideshows, the stuff that we used on the screens in there, all the different pictures. And I remember looking at the picture of when this was all just a field.
Oh, yeah.
Just a field. And then when it was just, you probably started coming here when it was just the main metal building, right? Yeah, because this addition just got added on, probably 7 years ago?
Like that.
Yeah. So you've kind of seen it from its infancy. And so that's pretty incredible. Yeah. What do you love most about this church? Because obviously you've been in and around a lot of churches and stuff, but what has kept you here, and what do you love most about Grace?
Actually, as I look around, I like several things about it. I like the setting where it is. I like the idea that we have really a lot of good parking spaces.
Yeah.
I like programs that the church has. However, the thing that I like most about the church is the people.
Yeah.
That you can have really nice buildings and programs and so forth, but the people are the heart of it, and that's in my case. My family is again, it was the people, and actually continues.
Yeah.
In that way. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's something incredible just about knowing that you've got people around you that support you and love you and actually care for you. And I know that you've found that community here. I know that there's a lot of people that look out for you and take care of you and ask for you. And you're involved in a life group here too as well, right, on Sunday mornings?
No, I'm Sunday school. I'm not.
Yeah. And then and they still ask about you even when you go back to Texas.
Oh yeah, sure.
So because you split that in between. I wrote this down because this is something that I've watched from afar. I've been here just almost 7 years now on staff here. We were in Boston for a season. Grew up in Ohio, and then went to Boston for ministry school, and then ended up staying there for work. And then we moved here about 7 years ago, and then I started seeing you from a distance. Didn't really know you that well, but just started seeing you around the church, always serving, and especially at VBS. You are always quick to serve at VBS, and what I love about you is you're always behind the scenes and you're always willing to do whatever it takes. One of my favorite pictures that I have of you is you vacuuming.
Oh, okay.
And I know that's such a
I've had some
simple thing.
experience.
I know it's just such a simple thing, but it's such a it's one of those tasks that nobody likes doing, but there you are serving. And so you have all these excuses. Another thing that I noticed about you is at our VBS finale, it was on a Sunday night. We had all the kids there. It was crazy in there, lights, music, smoke, kids screaming, hollering. But you were in the back and you were there supporting that ministry. And I thought that was incredible because a lot of people, maybe even in your generation or your age bracket, would be like, oh no, that's for the young kids or that's for somebody else. But you were there praying for us. You were there supporting us. And I just thought that was incredible. And then not only that, you also were there on that Monday morning. And you came back and helped us tear down that whole gym.
Yeah.
And for me, that's something incredible because here you are, 92 years old. You have all the excuses in the world to say, hey, I'm going to sit at home. That's for somebody else. Tell me what's the heart behind that? What motivates you to serve like that? Because that's rare.
Well, I've been fortunate to have reasonably good health.
Yeah.
I have had I've experienced a lot of different things, different kinds of work, and I've had some time to come and assist in places where I feel there's a need.
Yeah.
And I love to be around people. You know, I've been in public all my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Really. But yeah.
Well, on behalf of Grace Baptist Church, I just want to say thank you for the way that you serve, because it's a testimony to the people of Grace, and especially to just to your presence there. You know, it matters. You know,
it's a privilege and an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me.
So, and I know this is maybe not a difficult question, but maybe just for a forward-thinking question. What's your prayer for Grace and its ministry in the next 30 years? Because like we just reminisced, we just celebrated 30 years of ministry. It's now 32 years that Grace Baptist Church has been in existence here at Winchester. What's your prayer for the next 30 years for Grace?
Well, I guess first of all that we continue to support the congregation.
Yeah.
That we need to find new avenues that we are able to serve. I feel that we have the opportunity and the resources to help others along the way.
Yeah.
We need to look at the big picture, and also as we move forward, I think it's important that we are amenable to new things.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing a good job of that now.
Yeah.
Really, those are the things that I see from this point that seem important to me, or through my eyes.
Yeah.
Really.
Absolutely. And like I said, once again, I just love your heart of service and just your mindset of, hey, let's reach people. There's people in this community that need help, and more importantly, they need the gospel.
Yeah.
And it's evident in your just your demeanor and the way that you show up and support the church. Because a lot of people become consumer mindset almost with church. Well, church is about me. It's about, what can I get? I've never seen that from you. You're always, hey, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve, and I'm here, to learn, and I'm here to grow, but I'm also here for others. And that just, actions speak louder than words, and your actions have portrayed that. So, so thank you for that. If you could give advice to the next generation behind you, what advice would you give them? I know that's a pretty big question too, pretty open-ended question too as well, though.
Well, I feel that it is really, really important for the next generations coming along to be aware of the many sacrifices that people have given throughout the history of our country.
Yeah.
There's evidence of this all around. You look around and see, especially, people that have given a lot through, military service is one way. Look around and see people that have lost limbs, That's evident. You see it every day out here. Much of this should help us to be much more than thankful for the country that we have. It is not perfect, but when you compare it to other countries that you've experienced, I concur with what so many other people have expressed, that this, again, we have some faults.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade it for any country that I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people are quick to forget where we've come from as a nation when it comes to just our freedoms, and especially, man, what a blessed nation we are to be able to freely worship and freely express, our religious convictions, especially when it comes to, there's many countries, many places that you can't freely meet like we can on a Sunday morning, and even own a Bible and even speak, what you believe. So, but a lot of people forget that and are almost in this consumer and privilege mindset of, well, I deserve this, and you, like you said, you look throughout history where people have sacrificed their lives for this country, and you look back at even Christian history. There's Christians, we stand upon the shoulders of people that have gone before us in the faith that have stood up for religious freedom. And so now we are able to sit here today and freely worship because of their sacrifice. Yet sometimes we neglect that and forget that.
Yeah, right.
So
we can do that at our peril too.
Yes. Yeah. Well, any closing thoughts, statements about the life of Randolph Mann?
Actually, I think we pretty much covered it.
I know, we got it all, right? We got it all. Well, Randolph, once again, thank you for the ways that you serve Grace Baptist Church, and thank you for your heart, seriously, in a culture that is so self-seeking. It's encouraging to see a young gentleman like yourself serving Jesus, being faithful to serve. Like I said, it still it baffles me that it encourages me so much to see you at some of these events serving. When we have movie nights and stuff, or when we have different stuff like that, you're here serving popcorn,
Right.
You just jump right in. You don't really even, ask. You see what needs to be done, and you do it. And that's just what I love about you. So thank you for serving, and thank you for being a part of Grace Baptist Church.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, can I pray with you?
Yes.
I pray with you. Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for Randolph, Lord. I thank you for his life, and Lord, everything that you've taught him thus far in life. And Lord, just thank you for bringing him to Winchester. And Lord, what a story that he has to tell about his life and how you've provided and protected him all along this way. And Lord, I thank you, Lord, for his marriage. Lord, I thank you for Ella. I thank you for his kids and just his grandkids, and the legacy that he has created through his faithfulness and through his service to you. So Lord, I pray that you'd continue to bless him. Lord, I pray that you'd continue to give him energy and strength. And Lord, that he would continue to serve you all the days of his life. It's in your Son's name I pray. Amen.
Thank you,
sir. It was fun.
That's good. Yeah.